Welcome to Mainland, your local regional television station. I'm Graham O'Brien, and some of the stories coming up in today's news. Pharmacies targeted, wood burner rules are scrutinised, Tasman Mayor questioned, and more. Low-life burglars have been actively targeting and taking cash and drugs from pharmacies in the Nelson region in a spate of break-ins over the past 8 days. A Richmond pharmacy was the latest to be hit on Wednesday the 27th in the early hours, with entry gained through the ceiling. Meanwhile, a Nelson pharmacy was entered into in the small hours Tuesday the 20th by the door being kicked in, while another pharmacy in Nelson was broken into through the roof on the early hours Friday the 23rd. Nelson police are investigating the 3 burglaries that have all happened in a short period of time, and in an effort to stymie further attempts last week, police had sent out a warning to pharmacies in the area to be vigilant, warning of potential burglary. One pharmacy owner believed they spotted the burglars acting suspiciously when staking out the store before the break-in occurred, and said they could be identified. No arrests have been made yet in connection with these burglaries. However, police would like anyone who has information about any of these incidents to contact them. This week, Council's Planning and Regulatory Committee debated whether the wood burner plan change provisions and notification decision be sent to Council for consideration in December. Council Administration recommended at the Thursday morning meeting that an expert panel of 3 be appointed by Administration to give an opinion to the elected Council on the plan change due to the complex nature of the data that will be presented. This was decided as the best course of action, as there were a number of questions raised about councillors already taking sides in the debate and would not be seen to be impartial by the public. Councillor Eric Davies put in an amendment that the panel be approved by the Chair, Councillor McGurk, Deputy Chair Councillor Fulton and Mayor Rees, which was unanimously adopted. Councillor Kate Fulton spoke at length about how she would not want to see Nelson go the way of Tasman, where people suffer asthma attacks due to Tasman's relaxed emission rules. Points of order were called by Councillor Skinner and Mayor Rees that Councillor Fulton was on shaky ground and seemed to be promoting a view to Council. I spoke with Charm Ian Coed and Peter Erlinshaw, who presented both sides of the emission argument at the public forum. Charm Ian, you spoke to Council today at the public forum about the air quality. Could you give us a little bit of your thoughts, please?
Yes, I'm personally very impressed with the improvement of air quality since the air quality rules came in, standards came in. They're actually national standards required throughout the country. They've made a big difference to the quality of air in Nelson. That's obvious when you go outside in the evening, or if you look at your paintwork in the morning. So I'm really quite concerned if there's a push towards dumbing those rules down. Because of the fact that they've been so effective, and because of the fact that PM10 particle pollution is very bad for health of people and health of the planet if it comes to that. But my concern is that people should have warm homes to live in, but there are other ways of doing it. Instead of trying to use one bad idea to get rid of another bad idea, what about using some good ideas like increased insulation, which has been shown to be effective, as we saw in an article in the Nelson Weekly last week. Push to the government for cheaper electricity. They can do it for Kamalco. They should be able to do it for our families. And standards for housing, warrant of fitness for housing. That's what I'd like to see happen, rather than dumbing down the air quality rules.
Jane, thanks very much for your comments.
You're welcome.
Peter, you spoke at the Council Public Forum today on the wood burners. Can you give us a few of your comments, please?
Yeah, we just wanted to put it out there that the Parliamentary Commissioner for the Environment said we should ground truth theoretical models on what pollution's actually doing, and we put up a graph from the DHB that showed that despite air pollution levels coming down by 2/3 in every airshed over 13 years, over the same time period hospital admissions for respiratory illnesses has gone up by a quarter. So it really appears, if we're ground truthing these theoretical models, that the theoretical models are shown to be wanting.
Sure, so you're saying that even though the emissions have gone down due to another factor, that the hospital emissions are staying the same and even going up.
That's right, and the wood burners group standpoint is that it's the cold, damp houses that is causing these emissions to increase.
Many people are worried that if we bring back wood burners, we're going to go back to the dark old days of sooty windowsills and all of this. Do you feel that there's some truth in that?
No, I don't. A lot of wood burners have already been taken out. A lot of houses have been insulated. So the wood burners in many cases will just be topping up the heat. And in any event, we should be policing it better as far as stopping smoky chimneys, making a smoky chimney be socially unacceptable, just like it's socially unacceptable to be smoking in a indoor public place.
Good point. Councillor Fulton spoke at length today about bringing in maybe an alternative such as pellet burners. Do you think this is a feasible solution?
No, because one of the things that council did a survey on where people source their wood from, and a third of people get their wood free. The pellets are never free, whereas I would suggest that a lot of poor people can actually source free wood, so that's free heating. And likewise with heat pumps, although they're efficient compared with other forms of electric heating, it's still costing for the electricity, so it's not free either.
It's quite amazing, isn't it? 30% or more of people that were getting their wood for free.
That's right, 33%. Yeah.
So that's a huge cost that's been loaded onto these people that were before not paying for their power or their heat, their source of heat anyway.
I think it's not being loaded onto them because they're actually just not heating. They're just sitting there in the cold, and with houses being colder, there's more mould on the walls, and they're getting sicker, and that's what the hospital admission rates show.
Peter Linshaw, thanks very much for your comment. Last month we covered the story of Golden Bay pensioner 91-year-old Reg Cooper. If you recall, Reg has had an ongoing dispute with council which has cost him hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees and court hearings. Reg is living in his house, which has now started to subside. Chrissy Small caught up with Tasman District Council Mayor Richard Kempthorne to ask him about the council's attitude to Reg Cooper and his 20-year-old decaying home that Tasman District Council inspectors signed off when first built.
Now, Richard, Mainland recently looked into the story over the Reg Cooper property in Golden Bay. Reg obviously is going through some sad times with his house. It's been ongoing for 20 years. He's not far off 91 years old, and most people who have an elderly parent or grandparent wouldn't want this on their loved one's shoulders. What is the situation with Reg's property as it stands with council at the moment?
You're right. This is a very difficult situation for Reg, and none of us want him to be in that situation. There have been issues with his house, various aspects of it. I won't go in the detail because I won't get all the detail right, but over a long period of time, and there have been various attempts to find a solution where an independent person can be brought in to examine what needs to be done for the house and find a solution, maybe some contribution from external parties to help pay for the solution, or at least part of the solution for Reg, but I don't think he's wanted to go there at this stage. So it remains an unfinished project. It does need rectifying, and it's very difficult for Reg.
I've been there recently and had a look, and there's black mould in his house, and the floors are moving, the house is dropping, doors are difficult to open and close, and it's not a pretty sight. Is there any way council can help him with his situation?
Yes, there is, and back in 2013, the Chief Executive responded at that stage. I had previous Mayor had, in saying, how about if we get an independent person to go through and find out what the issues are, rectify what needs to be fixed and who's going to do it and how it's going to be done. But at this stage, there hasn't been a desire to engage with council to do that.
He wants a full replacement, I think.
Yeah, and I don't think that's an option. So I think that's the reality. So while he may want a full replacement, that would come at the cost of ratepayers, and I think a lot of people have looked at this in much more detail than I have, and that hasn't been identified as an acceptable solution.
The floor was the earthworks that were made ready for the floor to be laid was done by a council contractor, I believe.
To be honest, I haven't got that detail in front of me, so I can't really answer that. But I think there are quite a number of issues with the house. The floor is one of them. There are issues with the roof, with the joists, with how the roof was constructed. So I think there's quite a number of things.
Well, Richard, we'll have to revisit this when we know a bit more.
Thank you.
Nelson City Council is seeking expressions of interest from artists across the country to create an original artwork for the prestigious Waka Landing site located on the Maitai River walkway. The commission is made possible through the Nelson City Council's Arts Fund, which is administered by Arts Council Nelson and is valued up to possible $75,000. Councillor Pete Rainey, who is Chair of Community Services, believes the work will serve to celebrate Nelson City and its people and their history, and will recognise the impact of Māori settlement and development in this area. The concept for the Waka Landing artwork should complement the overall design approach of the Maitai Walkway development. Full details regarding the project can be viewed on the Arts Council Nelson website under Arts Opportunities or on Creative New Zealand's site The Big Idea. Artists have until the 4th of December to submit proposals, with the artwork to commence early next year and completed and sited by December 2016. It was a party to remember for the 21st Nelson Arts Festival that entertained Nelsonians and visitors to the region for 13 days and nights, involving theatre, music, poetry slams, writers' talks, hip-hop, public art events and the mass parade and carnival. The festival wrapped up on Monday with 33 sold-out performances from a total of 54 ticketed events. Ticket sales are still being counted, but figures are tracking at around the same as last year, with nearly 10,000 tickets allocated. Shows in the Out of the Gate Schools program sold out within weeks of going on sale, and the 9 local performances in the free Pix Granary gigs attracted full houses. Nelson Mayor Rachel Reese said the Nelson Arts Festival is a considerable council investment that sets our city apart, as it's the only annual regional arts festival in the country. The support it continues to receive every year is a testament to the region that embraces arts, creativity and has a strong sense of community. The Mayor said a very big thank you to the community for their ongoing support and participation, and their generous sponsorship from local businesses, which is essential for running the event. The move to new and less conventional venues was embraced by festival goers, with the majority of Nelson Musical Theatre, the Freehouse Yurt and the Boathouse shows sold out, and the other shows in new venues such as River Kitchen also having very high attendances. Customers on all regional Air New Zealand services will soon be able to keep their electronic devices on for the duration of their journey, following approval by the New Zealand Civil Aviation. From November 4th, the airline will allow customers travelling on regional services to use handheld devices such as smartphones, tablets, e-readers and MP3 players during all phases of the flight, provided the devices are switched to flight mode. Previously, customers on regional flights were not permitted to use their devices during the taxi, takeoff and landing phases of flight. Customers can now keep their portable electronic devices and cell phones powered on, but not in use while crossing the airport tarmac. Previously, customers have been required to power off all electronic devices prior to accessing the tarmac. And finally, the families of the 3 crew members who lost their lives aboard an ocean fisheries trawler at sea off the Canterbury coast on October the 18th will get some relief knowing that the 3 crewmen's bodies have been located. The Royal New Zealand Navy's operational diving team returned to Akaroa late Wednesday with the unnamed body, this being the last of the 3 recovered from the wreck. The deceased men are Terry Donald Booth, 55, from Motueka, Paul Russell Bennett, 35, also of Motueka, and Jared Reese Husband, 47, of Timaru, who were all on board the ocean fisheries trawler when it sank. After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.
Hi everyone, I'm Malcolm Harris from the Facilitators. We now look after sales for Mainland TV, radio, Sky and online. New Zealand On Air's latest Colmar Brunton survey confirms Mainland's large multimedia audience. If you're in business or want to put a message out to everyone in the Nelson Tasman region, plus nationwide on Sky or worldwide online, please give me a call or see our website at www.mainlandtv.nz.
We're the team at JCar, right here in Nelson, 120 Hardy Street. Our shop is full of electronic items,
including security alarm systems, electronic components,
solar and power,
electronics toys,
sound systems, cables, and much, much more. JCar.
120 Hardy Street, Nelson.
I'm Francis from Nelson Auto Glass. We repair all auto glass, stone chips, windscreen replacements, scratch removal.
If you have an auto glass issue, our team will sort it.
Nelson Auto Glass Specialists, 84 Vanguard Street, Nelson.
.1 The Shed.
Hard on the heels of a very successful Nelson Poetry Slam final, Nelson Live Poets is hosting Australian poet and performance artist Joel Metcaro in a one-off show at the Free House. As a performance poet, Joel is warm, cage-rattling and engaging, not to be missed. Sit and Be Fit is on at the Victory Community Centre Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. at the Victory Community Church, 238 Upper Vanguard Street. School terms only. Fun while you get fitter, work at your level. For more information, please contact Shirley on 547 1433 or 021 121 8023.
Victory 60 Plus is on Tuesdays at 1:30 through to 3:30 p.m. at 238 Upper Vanguard Street. You can join in for cards, games and a cuppa.
On behalf of the team here at Mainland Television News, thank you for joining us, and we'll bring you the latest news and events from around the region again tomorrow.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
Are you tired of endless reality shows? Would you prefer to watch captivating documentaries?
They have swallowed cars.
Exciting movies?
Go ahead, load up and shoot.
Music for the soul?
And if you think I'd ate your fish and chips, I did, you're mistaken.
Programming from around the world. Places to visit. Local news and views.
I'm Graham O'Brien, and today's bulletin. Do you want to change the flag?
No, I don't want to change the flag.
Stay tuned to Mainland TV, your local station.
Welcome to Smugglers Pub and Cafe, open 7 days a week with free parking all day. Our lunch menus have that old-fashioned flavour where we treat you like treasure with the food you'll savour.
We cater for children, grannies and granddads too, with special rates and privileges given to the elderly lunchtime crew. Our staff are friendly and kind and want to see you all come back time after time.
Daytime or evening, it doesn't matter. Give us a call on 546 4084 and we'll be happy to spoil ya.
Edward Gibbon, the bathroom specialist, have a great range of bathroom ideas at their showroom at 23 McGlashan Ave in Richmond. Call in and check out some of the latest bathroom designs and fittings. Edward Gibbon, the bathroom plumbing and drainage supply specialist, 23 McGlashan Ave, Richmond.
Movies, books, and TV shows paint fairly gruesome pictures of a zombie plague, but they're usually vague about precisely how the epidemic begins. Today, I want to discuss a potential backstory that's less ridiculous than it sounds. Could a zombie apocalypse start with a routine trip to space? In some stories, zombies are slow. In others, they're fast. But most fictional zombie universes share two basic features. You're gonna need a weapon, and the zombie phenomenon starts unexpectedly and spreads quickly, which is why it wreaks so much havoc. Now, the underlying zombification mechanism varies from story to story, but often it's envisioned as an infectious disease, hence the abrupt onset and rapid spread. The disease vision of zombie apocalypse has so much in common with real-world epidemics that the CDC actually developed a zombie outbreak preparedness plan, and the Pentagon had a zombie outbreak training exercise. In fact, non-joking textbooks and academic papers have been written with detailed mathematical and computer models of how a zombie epidemic would spread. By the way, for maximum survival, you want to go to Montana or Wyoming. See the link in the description. Unlike other government agencies, NASA still hasn't gotten on the zombie train. But maybe they should. Because one scenario that's more plausible than you might think is that a zombie apocalypse could start in space. It may not be obvious, but spaceflight introduces some unique wrinkles into how infectious diseases might originate and spread. Let's start with bacteria. In 2006, researchers sent some salmonella on the space shuttle, brought it back down to Earth, and then infected mice with it. 90% of them died, compared to just 60% from regular salmonella. The lethal dose of salmonella also dropped to just 1/3 its usual level. More infectious bacteria flown on subsequent shuttle missions showed similar changes. What's weird is that the salmonella didn't mutate. Instead, many of its genes just became overexpressed, including ones that make it more virulent. Bottom line, a few days of spaceflight can make certain bacteria significantly deadlier. Now I know, a lot of fiction says zombieism is viral and not bacterial. First of all, lots of plagues throughout history have been bacterial, but okay, viruses. Consider The Walking Dead. In that world, every living person has somehow already contracted the zombie virus, which lies dormant until you die, at which point, where the virus came from and how everyone got infected, though, have yet to be explained. So consider this. Preliminary evidence suggests that the 3D structure of viral proteins, which dictates in part how viruses enter cells, may be altered in microgravity. Moreover, blood samples taken from astronauts during various stages of spaceflight show reactivation of dormant viruses that they already carry, like chickenpox or the Epstein-Barr virus, which causes mono. All of which suggests that viruses also are more virulent in orbit. Now, this could be happening due to changes in the viruses themselves, or because spaceflight generally weakens the human immune system, or both. NASA's not really sure yet. All I'm saying is, given what we do know, it sounds like Patient Zero on The Walking Dead could have been an astronaut carrying a distorted virus. Now, zombies aside, NASA and other space agencies research infectious disease extensively. But that research is tricky because you need to put people in space for long periods to collect data, and that takes years. NASA also has thorough quarantine and sterilization procedures to minimize germs hitchhiking into orbit, but you can never really get stray microbes down to zero. Take the Curiosity rover, for instance. To avoid contamination of the Martian surface, NASA went to great lengths to sterilize the rover before launch. Clean rooms, people in bunny suits, the works. But Curiosity was still estimated to harbor a few 100,000 microbes when it took off. Considering you have trillions of foreign bacteria on or in you right now, a few 100,000 is tiny, but it's not zero. Plus, the future of space travel won't just be government space agencies. If you fast forward a few decades, you're going to have an era of space tourism or space hotels, where ordinary people are taking vacations to low Earth orbit. Once most space passengers aren't professional astronauts anymore, you're going to have a pretty big petri dish up there with lots of opportunities for a hypothetical zombie Patient Zero. Because the bottom line is that infectious disease takes on a whole new dimension in space, and dealing with that fact is one of the biggest challenges in establishing a larger human presence in Earth orbit and beyond. So to recap, spaceflight can strengthen and change the operation of pathogens. It weakens the body's immune response. And 100% sterilization is impossible, even in the cleanest of NASA clean rooms. Sound like a plausible plot device for how a fictional, previously unknown disease gets a foothold? Since our understanding of the nuances of disease in space is still in its infancy, it's not like anyone's in a position to say it's impossible. I mean, other than the reanimation part, but why split hairs? So, what do you guys think? Will the zombie apocalypse start in space? Should Fear of the Walking Dead feature spaceflight in its upcoming origin story for the Walking Dead zombie virus? Let us know in the comments, along with any cool scenarios you might have in mind for a good space-based zombie apocalypse backstory. I'll report the best ones on the next episode of Space Time. Last week's episode was about farting your way to the moon. You guys had a lot to say in the comments. At the top, let me just address all the comments about our choice of topic for this episode. Look, this was all me. I think farts are funny, and that they're a good vehicle for explaining physics. I also went to school for more than 10 years, published articles in journals, I like the ballet, go figure. So let's look at some of the physics questions that this episode prompted. Jarmid Balfi asked, if I kept releasing gas over several days, wouldn't eventually I pick up a lot of speed? In short, no. The effects when you're releasing that little mass are basically additive, and they come out from just straight up momentum conservation. Even if you released a full day's worth of gas every day for a year, you would still only build up to a few millimeters per second of speed, just not very fast. Now, say you wanted to release decades or something worth of gas. At that point, the total amount of gas that you would have released would have been a non-trivial fraction of your body mass, and to compute everything correctly, you would have had to take that loss of mass into account and use a more correct version of momentum conservation called the rocket equation that compensates for this. Dario alluded to the rocket equation and that form of calculating momentum conservation in his comment. Tony Falca asked, could you not swim through space? There were a lot of responses indicating no, because there's nothing to push against, the same way that you're pushing against water on Earth. However, David Shee made a comment directing me to a paper by an MIT physicist indicating that in a curved space-time, you may actually be able to do this, actually have reactionless propellant. I'm going to read up on this and make sure that I understand it right, but this could be fodder for another episode. And finally, Remy Porter commented that he'd love to see his farts accelerate to Mach 4. You and me both, brother. You and me both.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220? And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $979? So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.
Nelson Tire Center. Great prices, great service. Buy your own Bryford trailer. All types, all sizes. See Colin Douglas for your tires and batteries.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220? And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $979? So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Here at Yes Shop, we love the word yes.
Yes.
We say yes to kitchenware. We say yes to beauty. We say yes to homewares. We say yes to fashion. We say yes to electronics.
Yes to Philips. Yes to Dell. Yes to Apple.
Happy Cool, Glad, Goldia, Hurom and thousands of other products in our store.
Yes!
Say yes to TV shopping that's all about fun, made right here in New Zealand with Kiwi presenters like me.
Yes! Say yes to the ultimate service.
With dedicated presenters taking the product out of the box and showing you how it works.
And what it can do for you. Say yes to our international buying power. That lets us bring you the best bundles at the best bargains.
All from the comfort of your own home.
24 hours a day.
So what are you waiting for?
There's nothing quite like it.
Come with me.
Say yes to Yes Shop.
Yes!